On the road to Macstock with Paula Davis. This is Mac Voices. Mac Voices is supported by MacVoices Magazine, our free magazine on Flipboard and on the web. Want to cut through all the noise and find out what you can do with your Apple gear? MacVoices Magazine focuses on just that, aggregating the best how-to articles and information. Get it by searching for Mac Voices in the Flipboard app or visiting macvoices.com/magazine. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we're on the road to Macstock talking to the speakers who are going to be in Crystal Lake, Illinois to inform, educate, and maybe even entertain us, at least in the case of some of the speakers, with knowledge and information. We're going to make a lot of new friends. We hope you will join us. This time, I get to make a new friend because I'm talking to Paula Davis. She is not only first time on Mac Voices, she's also a first-time Macstock speaker. Paula, it's a delight to meet you. Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm really excited to do it. This whole thing kind of happened organically for me. So yeah, I'm new to Macstock. This will be my first Macstock I've ever attended. And I found out about Macstock through Ecamm. I was watching a live with Doc and Katie, and Mike was on it. And I was like, okay, this is really interesting. It's in my backyard. I need to check it out.
Okay, that's interesting. So if you don't mind saying, how close are you to Crystal Lake?
About 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, gee, that is.
Chicagoland area is big, but not having to fly someplace to learn more about my Mac and to dig into Ecamm, I was like, I'm deciding signing up. Speaking was just kind of the icing on the cake.
Yeah, well, that's kind of interesting. You went from not knowing about it just to be deciding to attend, then to be applying to be a speaker and being accepted. So that's terrific. That's terrific.
Yeah.
So first of all, before we get into your topic, tell us a little bit about yourself, because I don't think you are just necessarily from what I know, the average Mac user.
Well, I've been using a Mac forever. So I sent Mike a picture of my first Mac. It was back in the 80s. So I'm not as talented as Mike is on the Mac, but I've been a user for a really long time. All of my children are Mac users. Those were the computers we had in our house. I have 5 kids. They're not babies anymore. My youngest is just starting her master's program at Marquette University. And my 4 older kids have graduated. They're in the workforce. They're all in finance. They're all in PC land. But each and every one of them owns a Mac because we're Mac people.
But you also do a little production of your own.
Well, I'm starting a production of my own. I'm an I don't know if I can say it, StreamYard user. Okay.
Sure.
And I used StreamYard several years ago. I have my mom recently passed away, but my mom had needed caregiving. And so that kind of interrupted my show for a bit. And when I decided to come back, there were a lot of price changes and a lot of, StreamYard, and like a lot of applications, they, kind of tweak their prices and things happen. And so I was looking for something that was a little bit more economical, but also something that was more design oriented. I have a design background. I love making things beautiful and engaging, and StreamYard's a little limited in that area. So I gave Ecamm a try. I have a show. It's called Ditch the Dogma, and it's coming soon. I'm in the process of launching it this summer. That was kind of why I was excited to come to Ecamm or Creator Camp with Ecamm at Macstock, so that I could learn more and really get my show going. It's going to be about well-being, and it's called Ditch the Dogma, and we ditch wellness dogma. I've been doing wellness since like a couple, decades. I became a health coach back in 2010 when nobody knew what the heck a health coach even was. Way before the boom of everyone becoming a health coach or a life coach. So I've been around the block a few times, and my kids, we are a very health-oriented family. All 5 of my children were born at home. So that's probably a topic for another day. But so wellness is something that's always been a part of my life and became more of a professional thing back in 2010. And the Ditch the Dogma is kind of an evolution, a growth. For 20 years, I'm also a movement instructor. varying certifications in different movements, vibration, yoga, stretching, mobility, flexibility, all that type of stuff. But it's very prescriptive. And the wellness industry overall has become very prescriptive over the last, 5 to 10 years. It's become almost a nearly $10 trillion industry. Yet everyone seems to be not so healthy. They say right now that less than 1 out of 10 Americans is metabolically healthy. So I've kind of taken a change with this idea that instead of working one-to-one, instead of looking at kind of like solutions and fixes and trends, to actually advocate for women and for men to prioritize their health in a way that suits them by listening to their bodies. And that's kind of how Ditch the Dogma was born. How do we look at the information that we're getting from the wellness industry? What suits us, what doesn't, maybe push the gurus to the side and the one-size-fits-all solutions and really start listening to our bodies. And that's kind of how I got to where I am at now.
That's, first of all, congratulations. There's a deep appreciation on my part for you sacrificing some of the show to do the caregiving. That's so important. Mm-hmm. So your priorities are clearly in the right place. The rest of it sounds really intriguing, that it's been quite the little journey. And I love the idea that now you're going to take that whole evolution online with the show. So that's going to be fun to watch. And I kind of get the impression that Ecamm may be part of that. So we'll see how it goes. Okay,
yeah, so most definitely. I was just going to say I am totally in love with Ecamm. I am trying. I'm learning. I pay attention to almost everything they do. So I'm excited to use the product and to really be. I want to help other women who have who have a message that they want to share in the world use this program as well. I think it's so cool.
So nobody believes me, but I swear I have not looked at the Macstock website. I have not asked Mike. In fact, I intentionally tell Mike, I don't want to know what they're talking about because I like these interviews to be cold and have you surprise me. So given everything you just said, are you going to bring some of this into the Macstock audience, or are you going to take us in a different direction?
Yeah, see, we're going to talk about wellness, which I thought was kind of an interesting, unique thing. I didn't know because I wasn't familiar with Macstock and the different types of presentations they had in the past. I had reached out to Mike and just said, hey, do you guys talk about well-being on your stage? I had just finished a 2-week program with an Ecamm, I don't know what you would call it, like a how to get into Ecamm kind of class. And most of the people, it was 2 weeks. It was pretty intense. We were doing like 2 or 3 different types of homework every day. Plus, you're still doing your regular job, or you're taking care of your family, or, in my case, my husband and all the different things. And everybody was really kind of having a hard time doing it all. It was a lot. And I said to Mike, the best tool that a creator has is their body. Like if we can't be strong and physically able to show up every single day in our bodies and in our minds, even in our spirit, right? How can we be the creators that we want to be? And I said, I think it would be really fun to talk about that at Macstock. And that's kind of how the whole thing kind of came to be. So I applied, and I was fortunate. I believe I was the last application accepted. So a lot of gratitude and a lot of excitement for that. And my talk is going to be about rebooting yourself, the one upgrade that powers everything.
Oh, I like that. You can take that in so many different directions. So are you going to, and look, we always say that we don't want you to give the presentation here. We want to talk about the presentation, but I don't let me force you into giving the presentation. But is the rebooting yourself going to have to do with technology, or is it going to be one of those things where, okay, it's time to put technology in its place and pay attention to some other aspects of life?
So 2 things that I thought were really important. The first one is that you can have the best tech stack in the world, and you need to have it. You need to have a great Mac. You need to have Ecamm. You need to have the mic and the camera, the prompter, all the different things, right? But in addition to that, we have to pay attention to who's running all of it. So that is my main focus of my talk. And then the second part of it, which I think is really, really important, we go to conferences, whether it's a productivity conference or a computer conference or something like the Macstock, where you're focusing on really getting to understand your Mac. You are so inspired. You're getting all this new information. You're staying up late. You're meeting new people. You're doing all the things, right? And you're so excited. In fact, I think inspire is the theme for Macstock this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this whole idea of we're going to be inspired, well, then you have to come home. And not everybody who's a content creator, that's their main job. They have a regular job that they have to take care of. They have family that they need support, spouses and children and caregiving. We need to be able to take all that information and then not lose it. That first week after a conference, I think, is killer as far as implementation goes. So my goal through my talk is to help everybody have 5 biological drivers. I won't get into what they are, but that can help them go from Macstock back into their lives. And then all those ideas they came up, all the new things they learned, be able to then weave them and integrate them into their day and not be exhausted and feel good in their body.
Okay, that's really interesting, given some of the presentations that have been given in the past, and a couple of the ones I know that are coming up this year. That there's such a focus that we all have on productivity and efficiency, and sometimes probably to the detriment of our health, to be honest with you. So, yeah. I like the idea that you're going to turn it a little bit, and then make sure that we come back to what we all love.
Yeah. I think as a content creator, which is something I'm stepping into, I've worked one-on-one and with women and in my studio, and this content creation world, which is kind of new to me, it really requires a lot of, it's beyond the self-confidence. It's the ability you got to do really hard things. And as a content creator, the first thing that occurred to me was that the better I feel in my skin, the more confident I am. The more energy I have, the more that's going to come across on camera. And for women, not so much for men, but, we want the hair to look a certain way. We, don't want the circles under our eyes or the pimple. And we're like, oh, darn it. I was going to go live today and I don't feel good about myself. And I think all of that kind of comes into play. So well-being to me is what brings us resiliency. It's what brings us longevity. And as a content creator, you cannot have enough resiliency and longevity. You not only want it for your physical self, but you want it for your business. You want to be able to repeat this model, right, over and over, but also adapt and change and be flexible and be fun and creative. So I think it all comes together.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Again, I hate that I sound like I'm pushing it. I'm not, because I'm really intrigued though. So do you plan on having like any interactivity in this session, or is it going to be more, here's an outline for you to be a little bit better you?
So as a wellness person and having attended a lot of different retreats and conferences, everybody always gives you those 5 steps, the things that you need to do. And then you get home and you're like, okay, what were the 5 things and how was I supposed to do them? And then they always seem so basic. Like you're sitting there listening to it and you're like, yeah, sleep's really important, and so you're like, okay, I've got that zeroed in, but do you really? So yes, it will be interactive in the sense that I want people to walk away with practices that they're actually going to employ. We might even do a practice or 2 during the session. Because another thing that I think is really important for creativity is movement, is getting up. Like when you have a block, the best thing you could do is, throw your shoes off, go outside, put your feet in the grass and really connect with earth and kind of wake yourself up. So during the session, I am on the last day, and I think I'm the second to last speaker. So I'm anticipating a little, like conference sluggery, right? Like we're going to be tired. It's going to be day 3. We've been learning all of these things. So there's going to be some movement. There's going to be some way to kind of wake everybody up. But they're going to go home with all the information they need to really implement this. my idea is not to, even with the Ditch the Dogma, it's not about getting clients and working one-on-one with people anymore. It's about advocacy, and it's about helping women and men do the things that they need to do, and to do it in a way that feels good, that feels easy, that works into their life. And then the other thing that I think is really cool is a little bonus thing that I have planned. But the one question that I always hear consistently whenever I talk about wellness is, oh, this sounds so great. Yeah, I totally get it. This is so important, but I don't have the time. I'm just so busy. Like, how can I add all these things you talked about were really great, but I don't have the time. And so I have what's called a time map. I won't give too much away, that I created, that shows you where your pockets of free time are in your day, and also shows you where you may or may not be using your time so wisely. What most people don't realize is that between 5 a.m., if you're an early riser, if not, I'm just going to go with that. But between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m., you have 64 15-minute increments. And when we look at time in that perspective, we're able to find those pockets where we can, put a little extra movement, maybe do some breath work, do a little bit of meditation, do a little bit of prayer, get outside. And all of those types of things will help us do and be better with our wellness and make time for it. So that's the little bonus I have for everyone I'm excited about.
Okay, I like it. You are a geek, because you've broken it down now into 15-minute increments. So that's, and sometimes I feel like I'm living my life in 15-minute increments. So I'm anxious to hear this presentation. This sounds really intriguing.
I'm excited to be there. I can't wait. And everybody's going to get handouts, and like my time map, you're actually going to get a PDF that you can print at home. And it's simple stuff that that can have a huge impact.
Okay, yes. Get ready, folks, because if you can tell, Paula's already a dynamic speaker, and now she's going to be talking about something that we all should be paying more attention to. Paula, Mike has given all the speakers a discount code so they can save a little money if they're planning to attend Macstock. Your code is?
It's Ditch Dogma, DITCHDOGMA.
Perfect. So, folks, I'll have that in the show notes. You can use Paul's code to save some money. I'm not sure as we record this about whether the hotel block is filled up, but I know there were alternative hotels if it is. If it's not, you want to get in there quick, because there's a real great chance, if it hasn't sold out already, that it will sell out. But we're going to have a ball, and I hope you will come and join us. So macstockconference.com and the code Ditch Dogma to save a little bit on your ticket. Paula, where should people go if they want to find out more about you or what you're doing before Macstock? Obviously, once they're at Macstock, you can tell them there, but where should they go now?
So right now I'm in launch mode, so everything is pretty quiet. But I do have Paula Marie Davis on Instagram, and if you want to be a part of the launch of the Ditch the Dogma show live show through Ecamm on YouTube, you can go ahead and subscribe. Just go to Ditch the Dogma with Paula Marie Davis.
Great. Paula, thank you so much. This is going to be fun. It's a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to meeting you in person in Crystal Lake.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. Again, one last time, Crystal Lake, Illinois, for Macstock Conference at macstockconference.com, and use Paul's code Ditch the Dogma to save a little money. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.